Assalamualaikum and hello and welcome back to another episode of Museum of Voices. I'm Shaida, your host. Today we are pleased to have Sara on board for episode 7. So Sara,
Hello
welcome.
everyone. Thank you,
Hi.
Shaida. Hi everyone.
Okay,
So
can you
today we'll be talking about my illness, which is schizoaffective, which is quite a rare mental disorder. And I should introduce myself first, I guess. So
Yeah,
hi
sure.
guys, my name is Sara. I go by the name Civil Produce on Instagram, and I'm currently doing my master's in international relations and diplomacy in a local university. And I'm doing random jobs at times so that I can manage my financial. So I did both great in undergrad, and I was a golden child, which
Wow.
a lot of my parents put a lot of academic pressures on me. So yeah.
So can you tell us a bit about schizoaffective disorder in layman terms? Okay, for perhaps you can tell us both medical, layman, and as well as a from a patient's POV.
It all went downhill in 2016, I guess, when I was diagnosed in the first at the first on the first diagnosis. I was diagnosed on the first day when I came to PPUM. It was, you can walk in at that time. These days you can no longer walk in. So the
I see.
procedure was I walk in to PPUM because I was losing a lot of weight and I have troubles waking up in the morning. I have troubles keeping my hygiene and basic things like brushing your teeth, going to shower and such on. So my friend at that time suggested me to go to PPM to get checked, and I went there. And the first thing they asked me was, "What are you? What do you think you have on the counter that you were supposed to like self check yourself?" And I was like, insomnia, because I don't know depression, or I don't know mental illness at that time. I was only 18 years old, so now I'm 24. So I don't know what is exactly is mental illness. It didn't occur to me that it was mental illness. And then
So you were not aware lah at that time. You
yeah, I
thought you
was not
only.
aware.
Oh,
So yeah, I thought I only having trouble sleeping.
I see.
So when I went to see the doctor, I remember my first doctor, it was Dr. Ong Jeng Yen. So Dr. Ong was really supportive. She asked me details of what had happened and how can and the point was I was very suicidal. That's the getaway of like, you need to get checked into the psychiatric ward as soon as possible because I have suicidal ideation. I self-mutilate myself, and there's a lot of things going on, and I was really really on the darker phase of my life. And I was really into substance abuse, and eventually they diagnosed me with MDD, which is major depressive disorder. And then in 2017 they changed the diagnosis to schizoaffective disorder because, okay, I would explain what is schizoaffective and the differences between schizophrenia and schizoaffective. So schizophrenia, you only have the positive symptoms, which is delusional hallucinations, and that was what I was having. They thought it was MDD with psychosis. So psychosis is the positive symptoms, but after a while, they recognized my symptoms that I have bipolar as well. That means it means that I have extreme moods, which is I feel very confident, very happy, very I can do everything kind of feeling, and then it will swing back to I want to die, I don't want to do this anymore, I really want to kill myself, and such on. So
Oh,
just
so it keeps fluctuating lah.
yes, it
This thing.
fluctuates. There's a maybe I stay depressed for 1 week, and then I'll be manic. It's called manic for 2 weeks, and then I'll get back to depressive. So there's no stop in there. It's so exhausting because, and don't let me get started on the medications. The medications has been changing from every month to every week to every time I got warded into the psychiatric ward. So my experience was, it was exhausting. I am now currently I have an OKU card for being mentally disabled. I wouldn't really say I'm really that I mean, I'm not really that, what do they call, crazy or like what, but it's just that happens to be I have schizoaffective, which is affecting my daily life. So how does it affect daily life? So first of all, you need to know how is it different from schizoaffective and schizophrenia. Schizophrenia, you only have the positive symptoms, which is, like I say, hallucinations, and then you have delusional thoughts. What I was abusing substances at that time. So it could be that I was under the influence that led me to have schizoaffective, that it fried my brain. I would not explicitly tell what substance abuse I was doing, but it was some a substance that can lead to this schizoaffective. So the positive symptom is absent in people who are not schizophrenic. So they have hallucination that is such as false perception, that is hearing, seeing, feeling, or smelling things that are not actually there. I had that. I also had thinking disturbances. Disturbances is like the problem is reflected in a difficulty in communication. So I would always, in a manner that is difficult to follow. For example, I may jump from one topic to the next, and then to the next topic without middle sentence, and I make up new words or simply be difficult to understand. And I also have delusions, which is false beliefs. I used to believe that I live in a what do they call, experiment box, and people around me is actually like those experimental settings. So I was being watched by these aliens. I believe so that time. So when I was thinking like that, I was sent to psychiatric ward for about a month. I would not get out from those beliefs. I think everyone is an alien, and the alien is watching me, following me, and that those are positive symptoms. Those symptoms would occur to people who are schizophrenic, but people who are not schizoaffective, they wouldn't have the negative symptoms. So schizoaffective have the positive symptom, which is the hallucination, delusions, and thinking disturbances, but people with schizoaffective have positive symptoms and also negative symptoms. So these negative symptoms are sometimes they have symptoms of mania, and also difficulty in paying attention. So my mania is I have euphoric and expansive mood, where abnormally I feel so elevated and extremely happy or excited is euphoria. I may talk too much, and that's when I become vulnerable, because I tend to uh, overshare to people, because I have this enthusiasm and emphasize on certain topics, and I like to, whatever it is, I like to brag when I have manic symptoms. And it's also that I have a lot of irritability, where I get angered and persistently getting irritated when, especially when others seem to interfere with my goals or whatever unrealistic ideas I have maybe. And also I have inflated self-esteem and grandiosity, which means I am so unrealistically confident about my abilities. Like, okay, the first thing is, we see how I got into masters. It was actually because I was in manic mode. So now I have to finish my masters, because I chose to take masters when I was manic, because I believe I could do it. But I'm already halfway through it. I'm already on my last semester. I'm about to graduate.
I
if
see.
inshallah, if I say. And I also have racing thoughts, meaning that my thoughts came so rapidly that I have hard time to keep up and to express them. And my talkativeness is my weakness because I overshare to a lot of people who I shouldn't overshare to. And I do not have this thinking where I can differentiate with between this person just wanted to get into my pants, or this person is just being really friendly and just wanted to help me. So at the end of the day, that's a trauma upon trauma and upon trauma, because I'm being when I'm in manic and depressive, I'm being vulnerable. So I let myself into a lot of traumatic experience to the point that I get PTSD. I was diagnosed with PTSD. It's called post-traumatic symptom disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder. Sometimes it could be so bad that my body remembers, even though I do not have the thinking of it, but my body remembers it. So sometimes I would suddenly flinch, and I get really sudden reaction or sudden jump. I get jumpy because my body remembers those touch, and my body remembers those people who taken advantage of me. So to get diagnosed with schizoaffective, it's not easy. It takes years. For me, even for me, it took me 3 years, 4 years to get diagnosed with schizoaffective.
You've been through a lot, Sarah, and I'm so glad that you're still here with us. Being diagnosed after 3 years with schizoaffective, among other mental illness, is not easy. So, what are the common misconceptions about this illness that you hear often?
The misconception is they are, Malay. I'm a Malay, so this there's Malay culture always like they kena sampo, or like she has maybe demons inside of her. So
So
my
that kind
family
of
was,
like superstitious
yeah,
lah,
superstitious
kind of.
belief. So yeah, so my parents, especially my mom, my dad didn't believe it until I got overdose, and I was in coma, state of coma for like 3 days, 4 days, almost a week. To that point, then he believes that mental illness is real. But my mom to this day doesn't believe that I have schizoaffective. I think she doesn't even know that it's called schizoaffective. She just know I'm crazy and I have demons inside of me and I have to get exorcism done. So she always brings me to this ustad and this ustad after this ustad, and then also trying to see shamans and sasha. So
Oh, so not
she
just
she cut.
Islamic. It's not just Islamic.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, also other
She,
religion shamans also
yeah,
lah.
yeah. Like, it's not other religion. They portray themselves as ustad, but the
Mm.
way they do the procedure of, like, using nails, using your mom's names and your grandma's names, I know it's not based on Islam
Hurafat
perspective.
hurafat stuff
Yeah,
lah.
yeah, yes.
Mm.
So my mom sent me to those people because she thinks there's something wrong with me, because she said growing up I wasn't like this. But to me, it peaked during my early 20s, because it was scientifically proven that people with schizophrenia and schizoaffective peak the symptoms were peaking at those age. So my parents were really unsupportive of me, and to the point I cannot live with them because they do not they see my illness as my weaknesses.
You have shared with us some information about schizo affective disorder and its differences with schizophrenia, and maybe like a patient POV from your POV basically, and also some common misconceptions. Perhaps can you share a little bit more about your story?
I have been in this battle war zone for 7 years now. From I was 18 till now I'm 24. It's been 7 years. So I mean, the PTSD was because I was vulnerable, because people who have mental illnesses, they are not aware in what condition they are. And at that time, I was lonely. I do not have a good support system. I was abused by my ex-boyfriends. Those people who were involved with me were abusing me physically, mentally. So I dump myself on myself a lot of trauma. So to process those trauma takes time, and it takes a lot of constant hard work, because you put yourself there and you don't have anyone to blame other than yourself. That was the beginning of therapy. I was really blaming myself. I couldn't accept that I did this to myself. But at the end of the day, you have to accept that it is you, that you are the reason why it happens. But it's okay. You just have to move forward and do it bits by bits to accept those things that happens to you.
What was your initial impression when you were made aware that you have schizoaffective?
My initial impression when I was diagnosed, when I got the report that I was schizoaffective, I was confused, because what is schizoaffective? Because you have to understand, these doctors are just doing their jobs. Their jobs does not include telling you what are you having. They are just prescribing you, doing diagnosis, and that's it. Until you go to therapy and they read out your report, that's when you know what you're having. Because when they're prescribing, they're not telling you, oh, I'm prescribing this because you have anxiety. I'm prescribing this because you have depression. No, they will just, okay, today I'm going to give you maybe sertraline, maybe clonazepam, maybe some additional medication because you have this. No, they won't tell you. It's like a secret to them. I think this is because of new generation of doctors that they won't share you, but older doctors, they would tell you that you are having this and that.
Sarah, like getting medication, right, is expensive?
Oh, there's one time I had to get Abilify Maintena. It was an injection. It was a slow release injection. It cost me 800 per month. Per month. Total up my
Wow.
medication before I was in OKU, it could reach about 1,000 grand a month. But now I'm in OKU status. Some subsidized medication I get it for free, but some medication which is not subsidized, like what I'm eating now is the one that is not subsidized, is cariprazine and also quatipine. Those are antipsychotics and antidepressants, so those are not subsidized. I total up I it cost me about 400 ringgit per month for 1 month supply.
How were you coping when you were having all of this?
So how did I cope? Of course, I cope with substance abuse, but then it was not a good coping mechanism. But then, since I started therapy, I realized that journaling was the best for me to, because when you journal your activities, your feelings, what were you having on that day, you kind of can see the things from a third person point of view. You can start
Mm.
seeing your patterns, and you can start seeing your how your mind works, and how your mind, how they combat, or like how do they perceive things or like react to things. So
Yeah,
when you
I
start
totally
journaling,
agree.
and yeah, when you
Yeah.
read back your journal, you realize, why did I did that? I should not done that the next time. And you will not do it the next time, because you kind of like retrain your brain to like not do it and try to do it a better way, and you can express your feelings. Because for me, when I started journaling, it was really hard, because I don't know what to write. I don't know what to start. I don't know. I just don't know how to write. So the first time I started journaling, I just write what did I do for the day. Like, oh, today I woke up and I showered. And then suddenly I feel good about myself. Like, oh, I showered today. How good is that? Like, it's a self-achievement. Like, congratulations, you showered and bathed. Good job. Now you have to like keep continue those things. Like, after you shower, you have to eat. After you eat, you have to go gym, or like you have to work on your thesis or on your research, or go to work. So it's kind of like a strings of like achievements. Like, after you every day, if you start doing it in a good way, by bathing, showering, even brushing your teeth, it sounds stupid, but it's the most simplest thing that can give you the self achievement kind of feeling, because I know to some people it's just wake up in the morning and just go brush your teeth. To
It's just a
some people
mundane
it's the
thing.
yeah, but to some people it's the hardest thing to do. I have been in a condition where I slept throughout the week and I didn't bath. I didn't even brush my teeth. I didn't even comb my hair. I didn't even do anything. I just sleep. And it was really bad. I just go up just to drink and just to pee. That's all. And I just sleep the whole week. And that's when I started to this kind of irrational thinking, like I should jump off this building. I should cut myself. Yeah, trigger warning, but I should cut myself, like I should cut myself until I can feel something, because I self-mutilate myself, I to the point can't feel a thing when something cut my hand or something cut my thigh area. I can't feel it because it's maybe because I already do it a lot of time, it became numb. So it was a bad coping mechanism. But for people who are battling these things, I think you should start journaling. Journaling actually saved my life. Journaling was one thing that I am proud to do so every day, because every day there's a new thing that you figure out as soon as you start journaling.
How would you react towards people who have negative stereotypes towards people with mental illness?
Those people who have this negative stereotype, talk to those people, or talk to the, or you just read some cases in YouTube, or like whatever it is. I just have one thing to say: you should try to have empathy, because people who are dealing with mental illness are also some sort of dealing like physical illness. They do not choose to be like that. You need to understand it's not their choice. If they have given the choice to pick other things, they would actually pick other things. I swear to God, they wouldn't pick this illness which is invisible to everyone.
Why
People
would
are
they
thinking
choose?
that,
Yeah, exactly. Why would they choose that in the first place? Why would, they
yeah,
choose to
why would they
suffer?
want to be, yeah, choose to suffer? It's suffering. You imagine your brain asking yourself to hurt yourself, to put yourself in a dangerous situation. Why would no one in the right mind would do that to themselves? Like, or you need to just have empathy. Like, just if you see them struggling, maybe you can send cute messages like, I hope you can get out of bed today and try better. Maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, but I hope you will get better. Because I think the negative stereotypes started when people are faking themselves to have this kind of illnesses, which is a really bad image to people who are really suffering. So it's really, I hope that people who are, stereotyping these kind of mental illnesses, you should read those cases which people actually die from suicide. You can die from physical illness, but mental illness, you can die from suicide, which is your body doing it to yourself.
I think what you've shared are truly something that really spoke to my heart. So for the
Yeah.
last question, right, what would you advise to the people who are battling with this illness? Any,
If
you are,
you,
yeah, go on.
yes, you were saying?
Any type of mental illness, not just what you are having right now. What would you advise to these people to keep going?
Just I know people who have this thing always want to end it. It's not worth it. It's not worth the worth. The when you go forward and you get better, the sun shines a little bit brighter, the sky looks a little bit bluer, and it's really nice. And those feelings where you see the people around you seeing you getting better, and you can feel the improvement, you will feel the relief, like I can you can last breathe and feel the warmth of the earth surrounding you, the warmth of the love from people around you. You can finally feel it, and you can, those feeling is something you want to hold on to, like something you want to, what, this is the breaking point, that I want to get better, I want to go further. I want to be there for the people I love because they've been there for me when I was in droughts. I was in the tunnel. I was down in the rabbit hole, but they pulled me out. Why would I end my life that way? Because I know it's not that I'm saying that people who suicide is selfish, but before I know when you had the thought to suicide is that's the only thing you have in your mind, seek help. You can always go to the emergency department in the hospital. They will help you and assess you. I believe that you will get the help you need, but you need to ask for help. You can't live in silence. You just need to reach out to those people and say, I need help. I need you to tell me that it's going to be okay and I need help. Once you get into the psychiatric ward, there's no phone. People can only visit you for several hours, and it's pretty healing because you get to be alone with your thoughts and retract everything you do and come to the sudden realization that you need help. So that's the thing that I would tell to people who are battling any kind of mental illness.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing your stories. I think you are very, very strong woman. Thank you so much thank you so much for like being here, being present and, taking that step to want to heal, like for yourself, not just for the people that you love, but also for yourself, because you still want to feel the warmth of the sun, the beach, or whatever the nature has to offer. Thank you so much, Sarah. You are,
You're welcome,
I
Shaida.
really admire you. Your Instagram is Civil Produce, right?
Yes, Civil Produce. CIVILPRODUCE. Civil Produce.
Okay, so to our listeners who want to keep in touch with Sarah can follow her Instagram. Thank you so much again for your time today. All the very best with whatever it is that you want to pursue in life. And thank you also. Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you, people, for listening. Have a good day. Bye.
Have a good day, everyone. Bye.